If we're talking about the private markets, there's private equity, there's private credit, and then each will have different structures and wrappers. In private markets, it's such a wide and broad term. Equity versus credit versus infrastructure versus real estate. How do we start to filter these down? What are some of the different goals that these things, styles have? And then kind of how do you navigate or help navigate people through them?
One of the things that we've done in some of our educational materials at Blackrock is we came out with a framework that we call HDMA. What the HDMA stands for is Hedge, Diversify, Modify, and Amplify. So those are kind of four outcomes that a potential investor would want when thinking about the alternative markets. Hedge, that tends to mean that they want something that is completely uncorrelated or maybe even negatively correlated with the equity or credit markets. So a lot of times that tends to be a hedge fund or a different type of alternative strategy that when the market goes up, you're going to go down, right? And that might not be a great feeling, but when the market goes down, and you go up, that can actually be a positive thing. That is probably a very small piece of the portfolio, but there's a lot of clients out there that want these hedges, right? Because if you use it in very small pieces, it can provide really good portfolio optimization. The second bucket is diversify. This is going to be a much broader bucket for most clients. And this just helps you diversify. And again, this is what we call low correlation strategies that will basically give you the ability to make returns, but not be dependent upon equity or credit markets. Again, these are different types of alternative or liquid alternative strategies or hedge fund strategies. They might go long and short. And so they can give you some exposure and they're going to hopefully give you a return regardless of that market environment. That's diversify. The third bucket is modify. These are products we have like on our ETF lineup, things like buffered ETFs, option strategies that can provide higher income to clients. So these are modifiers. They can take an equity strategy and they modify the return stream, right? By maybe giving you more income by writing options or potentially using options to do things like give you downside protection. Those are buffered ETFs. And then the last piece of it we call amplify. Are you trying to amplify your return or are you trying to amplify your yield? So if you're trying to amplify your return, that's where things like private equity may make sense. Or if you're trying to get a higher income stream, that's where something like private credit might make sense. So depending upon what you're trying to do in that portfolio, we try to walk through with the client, what are the goals? Some of them might want all four of those things. Some of them might only want to diversify and amplify, which are kind of what I would argue are kind of where private markets and alternative strategies can come most in. Or some of them might just want to modify the return stream because of their current market views. So there's a lot of different things to unpack there. And that's why I think anytime you talk about alternatives and private markets, you really got to go through, I think, what is the outcome that you're trying to get before you start looking at it? Because I think a lot of clients, sometimes they hear, hey, there's a 10% yield in this product that's attractive, but they're not really sure what the outcome they want is. So I think really doing outcome-based and scenario-based planning is really important before you even get into thinking about the underlying investments.